Hey guys, and welcome to Raw with AYSAINYE. And I actually was gonna say welcome back to the Bainsainye show. I'm still getting used to it, but I'm here joined with a very interesting guest.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself, Mr. Guest.
Hello, I'm Raheem.
Okay, all right. So
you didn't really give me anything to go from. Is that just is that all you wanted?
Literally whatever you want to go for.
I'm Raheem. I'm a Cancerian. And my moon is in Capricorn.
Explain that. Break that down.
My sun is in Cancer. My moon is in Capricorn, and my rising is
Virgo. Do you actually
Virgo.
believe in horoscopes?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me more about it, because I don't know where I stand with horoscopes. Because
I think that there are definitely characteristics that you find that are very common amongst the signs. I really got into it when I was touring a year or two ago, and it was like one of the main conversations that we just kept on having.
Okay, so what would you say about myself then? Because what do you need to know for my horoscope?
Listen, I'm not the one to go, oh yeah, you're a fire sign. I don't know. I don't do all of that.
What would you think I am, though?
Oh, I don't know. We've only known
I know
each
I'm
other
a Capri
for about...
sun.
Oh, funny. Are you a
No.
Capricorn?
Wait, it's Capricorn.
Are you actually a Capricorn?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
24th of December.
Yeah, you're a Capricorn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. I didn't know.
Capricorns are a bit of a testy character.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you're all very emotionally astute, but you keep your emotions very, very deep inside of you, and then you only let it out. You're quite monotonous when it comes to emotion. You're very emotional people, but you only will ever bring it out in front of someone when you can deeply trust them. Or that you've broken down in front of them accidentally. Occasionally you let things slip, and then that's when you know that you're comfortable around the person. Capricorns are a bit of a techie character.
Okay, guys, so this is my therapy session right now. So
I feel but is that not true?
Shit,
It is. No, it is though, isn't
it? You're talking too much, right?
Sorry.
Relax,
But
man. You
it
can't be baiting me out like this.
But it is actually true.
Oh my god.
But it's good though. But you're in a relationship, so that's good.
Yeah.
So have I just outed that? Do people know you're in a relationship?
That's breaking news, right?
You've just lost so many followers, haven't you?
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's okay, they're polyamorous.
Polyamorous?
Don't worry, guys.
No, we're not polyamorous.
Okay,
all right.
Sorry.
Before we even get cracking with this episode, there's viewer discretion. So if you do feel like, things are getting a bit too heavy or whatnot, the language is getting a bit too extreme, it's going left, right, center, fuck off. Yes, and if you are not a Bainsainye member and you want to see, part 2 in the uncensored version, and you want to see it full in its glory, then become a Bainsainye member. It's only £4 a month, and you get unlimited access to all the Bainsainye show episodes and all the previous Raw episodes. So it's very, very interesting, and you learn a lot of things, and it's entertaining as well.
And it's cheaper than Netflix.
Is it?
And Disney Plus.
Wait, how much is Netflix now?
I don't pay for it. My parents do.
Oh, you're one of them ones.
I absolutely am.
I see.
And I'm proud of it.
Okay, all right. So let's get cracking.
Yes.
Raheem, we are going to be going through your journey, right? We're going to be understanding what makes you, right?
For sure.
So let's talk about your upbringing. Let's talk about your childhood. Let's break it down. Let's start from there.
Please do.
So
what's the question?
How was your childhood?
It was lovely, thank you. I feel very blessed to have had the childhood that I've had. I come from a very mixed family, whether that be ethnicities, whether it be faith, whether it be cultural beliefs, whether it be cultures in general. So I think growing up, it was a very, very interesting experience for me in general. I grew up very close to my maternal grandparents, who come from a South Asian background, and then spent a lot of time also in Oxfordshire, where my father's family are English. So it was an incredible melting pot of many, many things. But I had a really fun childhood, I think. A lot happened. There were psychotic breakdowns, there were bouts of alcoholism, there were I don't know, deaths, divorce, the usual thing. And that was just me in year 5. So, I mean, it was just really crazy, I think in general. But I think that my childhood made me very strong and has made me the person I am today. So I think my childhood was incredibly character forming.
So where did your love and passion come for art, in terms of dance, in terms of performance?
Yeah, my family are very, very musical.
Okay.
So my grandfather would play. So let's just talk. My maternal grandfather would play a lot of old classics. He was a massive fan of the sarangi, and I think that's one of his main regrets is that he never learned how to play the sarangi. So I thought, oh, I should learn how to play. I didn't, but I always thought of me playing it would be really lovely. I grew up listening to old vinyl records. So my uncle, my mama, would play every single morning on a Saturday morning, would play old vinyl records, whether it be things like Sade, M People, Earth, Wind and Fire, all the way to things like Noor Jahan, Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, like all of like the big names. And like that's where that came from. My mother is an incredible singer, and she would sing for us all the time. And then I got into dance through that. Okay. So watching old cinema. And then when it came to my paternal side, I was listening to a lot of like, I don't know if you call it alt rock, but like it was like, you know, things like Pink Floyd and like loads of like things like that were brought into the atmosphere. So I think I came from a massive melting pot of people and of cultures and of arts and all of that shenanigan. But it was my love for dance and old cinema that got me into becoming a dancer. Because there was something about the courtesans on TV and screen that I was like enthralled by. So like people like Meena Kumari and, you know, watching things like Mughal Azam, Umrao Jan. Yeah, exactly. Like even things like that came up later on, like Jodha Akbar, like the period pieces, you know, really got me involved in like arts and stuff. So I think I've been encapsulated and succumbed by it like loads of times. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you've talked about the way that you've gone through your childhood, you've understood the whole thing of and found your love of dance, right? So what would you say dance has allowed you to do during your childhood? Like as in, was it somewhat of an output for your creativity? Was it the only output, or was there anything else?
I think that for me, it was the main output. It allowed me to, I think, be myself in my entirety and to find my authenticity through dance. It allowed me to express a lot of myself that wasn't necessarily a public expression. And it found a new lease of life for me. I think without dance, I wouldn't be here.
So what would you say is like the correlation between sort of your outputs, finding yourself essentially within that, and your sexuality, like that struggle, sort of like
wow, okay,
like as in, I know it's a bit of a deep question, but it's just like, because for me it's sort of like you're trying to figure out who you are, especially within like, you know, your younger age, your teenagers ages, like, you know, you don't know what you want to do in terms of like career wise, for example. Like what would you say was like the moment for you where you figured out like, okay, cool, this is it for me?
Goodness,
deep question, I know. We can break that down.
No, I love that. I think there were quite a few pinnacle moments of my childhood in being a dancer and in training that I realized who I was.
Okay.
And I guess what I mean by that is that like I never really, there were never really like points that I thought to myself, okay, you can't do this, or you know, you shouldn't be doing this, because it was always allowed. It was a safe space that I grew up in. So I think that was a massive blessing for me. My mother being who she is, my father, even my grandparents, you know, all coming from seeing so many things in their lives that they allowed all of us siblings and us grandchildren to kind of become who we are. I think dance allowed me to, whilst watching, okay, let's take Mughal Azam and Pakiza and things like that for an example. Yeah. Sitting there with like my grandmother and watching these things, my very first time watching something like Mughal Azam, there are two definitive songs in that. There's Mohe Pangat Be and there's Thare Rahiyo. Those were the two songs in that film that for some reason really struck with me and always stayed with me. And as I listened to them as I got older and older, obviously not entirely understanding the language in its, you know, in its fullness, so watching it with like English subtitles on YouTube and stuff like that, but like it was those specific moments and those specific dances that I looked at that and I was like, this is who I am.
Okay.
You know, and I guess what I mean by that is it's like as I got older, and you know, we all have incredible loves in our teenage years and stuff like that, like gut-wrenching love affairs, and but like listening to that music and watching that kind of made me realize what I wanted and who I was becoming. And I think I kind of always thought of myself as this courtesan, I guess. Does that answer the question?
No. It does. It gives a good like opening as to like, you know, where the vision comes from, where you come from, essentially. And I feel like if you guys haven't watched Mughal Azam or Pakiza, like what the hell are you doing? Because honestly,
know.
Yes, it is like 4 or 5 hours movie, right?
Oh, it's long.
It's long, but it's worth it.
It's worth it, yeah. And like a lot of them have now been remastered, so the colours have been like remastered and stuff like that, so you can watch it now in its full entirety.
The YouTube 4K Ultra HD, you know, 5-hour movie, and they just run ads to it. But no, that's interesting. I feel like equally relating this sort of like journey of yours to myself in terms of art, because for me art has always been an output for myself.
Of course.
Sort of like digital art, either drawing, painting. I love to do oil painting. That's my thing that not many people know about. So oil painting has always been my thing, but then I transitioned into the whole digital art realm, because of my discipline, architecture. So I completely get where you're coming from, because for me, my sources of inspiration were the likes of Michelangelo, Da Vinci and all of that, which weren't necessarily like your typical Desi influences, but like if you look at Desi influences, there's not that many, which is interesting. And we'll get into that as well, you know, in terms of like Desi representation and sort of art as well. So so how was the moment for you where you had to like come out essentially to your family? Or did they know? Was it a struggle? How easy was it for you mentally? Was it rough for you?
No, I didn't really have a coming out story.
You don't?
No, I'm really sorry to upset everybody here, but I don't have a coming out story. I never had to come out.
Okay.
So I never really thought of myself as any different until somebody pointed a finger and said it to me. So my mother, I remember having this, and it's such a vivid memory. I loved watching my mother get ready for things.
Okay.
I loved watching everybody, women, men in my family, get ready for an event. The chaos behind getting ready for a wedding. Everyone's ironing, people are coming out of the shower, we're all taking everything's in turns, you know what I mean? People are putting their jewelry on, the girls are doing their makeup, the people are doing hair.
It's chaotic.
It's chaotic, yeah. And like having that experience and being in that environment, I loved this idea of getting ready. So I remember being in Oxfordshire, watching my mother get ready to go out with my father for an evening event. And she was just speaking to me about school and like things. And she went, "Oh, do you fancy anyone? Is there anyone that, you know, you're interested in?" And I went, "No, not really." And then she said, "Are you, you know, interested in, are there any girls in your class, blah, blah, blah?" And I kind of immediately went, "No." And then just like, kind of just like looked away. And then she asked, "Oh, do you fancy any like guys in your class?" And that's when I stopped. And I went, "No." And then she went,
"No," and you got blushy, you was getting a bit shy. Was that the case?
I just sort of went, I just sort of went, "No." And then she went, "It's okay, Raheem, everybody knows." And I went, "Oh, okay." And she goes, "No one cares. And nor should anyone care." And then I was like, "Cool." And then that was it, really. I mean, one of the first dances I ever done as a child. No one ever calls social services on my family, but one of the first things I ever did was Joli Ke Piche Kya Hai.
Oh my God.
How old was I? I was like so young. That song came out whenever. And I used to grab... There was that other song as well. Oh, what was that song? Tu haan kar ya na kar. It's a really old song.
Tu haan kar ya na kar. You know what? That sounds brazy. Tu haan kar ya na kar.
I can't remember if that's what it was called, but that was the lyric. And I used to grab like my nanny's chunni and stuff like that and like dance with it in the, you know, to whatever was on screen. And Joli Ke Piche was one of the first things that I think I ever danced to like at a family event as a child. Wow. And I think I remember my mother tells me this, and she goes, her best friend is from Grenada, I believe, and they met whilst they were in primary school. And they went, Raheem's probably, And she went, yeah, I know. We'll just wait for him to tell us. No one cares. Like, we'll just wait for him. So that's what I mean. I feel like I've been very, very blessed in the upbringing that I've had, because like the environment for me was so safe and so welcoming, and it was already open for me to simply arrive. So I guess that's kind of my coming out experience. Like I don't really have one.
No. That's I think that's interesting as well, because of your family allowing and creating that safe space for you. Because unfortunately, not many people are exposed to that as well. So what would you say is your sort of like advice for somebody that is South Asian and struggling with their identity and just don't know what to do and how to go about it? What would your advice be?
I think it's always going to be hard. It doesn't matter if like where you're from and who your family are. It's always going to be difficult, because in order to really live an authentic lifestyle, you need the safe environment that you're in. I think that for somebody who's South Asian, who potentially may not feel incredibly safe within their space, I think it's about finding spaces you do feel safe in, practicing what you do within those safe spaces with people that you consider to be safe with. I think that that's very important. Chosen family is a really, really big thing in a queer community. So find spaces where you can find a family, where people are going to say, hey, do what you want to do. This space is yours as much as it is ours. Go and see shows. I think that that's really important. If you are queer identified, then I think you should go to queer shows, whether it be a drag night, whether it be a drag bingo, whether it be just something where people are unapologetically themselves. I think that that's also very, very important. There are definitive sects of queer communities that are culturally specific, ethnically specific. So if you were to feel more comfortable within a South Asian queer space, there are 100% places where you can do that as well. So I think that it's really about researching, finding those spaces and going in there, and don't give yourself too much pressure. You don't have to go there and dress up in any sort of which way. Just go there however you feel comfortable. I attend many an event in a tracksuit because that's how I'm comfortable. I remember speaking to you prior to being here, and I'm wearing a pair of jeans. I didn't need to be wearing a pair of jeans. I've just told everyone. But now I've told everyone that I am. I want everyone to know that I've dressed up, because my friends always go, God, you're always in tracksuits. Just wear a pair of jeans, and I have done.
The fit is fitting.
Thank you so much. I'm very uncomfortable. But I. I think it's about finding your space and finding your people. I think that that's my best advice, because that's what I did, and I got there really. So yeah.
So you've talked about finding your people, the closest people within you, and just sort of creating that safe space, right? So how did you deal with sort of like the external factors? So like I'm talking more about like the Desi community, the South Asian community, and the way that they've they've reacted to you.
How did I deal with it?
Yes. Ooh, the pause, the deep breath.
It's heavy. I don't really know if I have dealt with it in its entirely. I don't know. I don't think the South Asian community really has accepted me.
Okay.
I think that certain individuals have. There are places that I do feel accepted. I think people initially accept me for my talent in dance and performance. In the South Asian queer communities, I have been accepted, but I also haven't been.
Okay, what do you mean by that then?
What I mean by that is I think that people might think I'm too westernized, even though I'm very culturally aware. I am very Western. I don't particularly maybe even sound very South Asian sometimes. I mean, I speak the language fluently. I know the art forms fluently. I know the culture. I've grown up in it. But I don't think that people necessarily entirely see me as South Asian. I think that also comes from the queer scene that I'm in, that I fell into. It's not my fault that I got accepted into certain communities where others have not been. I think that also comes with caliber of performance, caliber of aesthetic. I think that I took my culture and blended it in very well. And I think my appearance, my way of being, you know, I don't think it's a bad thing that people dress in a certain way or want to look in a certain way. I think that's absolutely fine. But I also think that the color of my skin and my features is enough of a cultural statement in a space than to put on a certain outfit and a bindi or whatever. Like, I don't feel like that needs to happen necessarily, because looking at us, we're already different. I'm celebrating my difference, of course I am. I'm not saying that I'm ashamed of anything, but like, I think that there are certain communities who haven't necessarily accepted me in its entirety, but I've found people within those spaces that have brought me in and have accepted me, and that's all I give a shit about. Like, you know, being a Kathak dancer was one thing, right? Being a commercial and contemporary dancer, that's another thing. Being a touring drag artist, that's another thing. Being in a Bhangra team, that's a whole other thing. So like, it's about finding your people within those spaces that actually just like, yeah, this is just Raheem. It's not like anything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do get you.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of developing somewhat of a thick skin as well, I think, because it's like, you've got to get going with life. You can't be just like thinking about, okay, all right, this person's saying this, that, whatever. You just can't give a shit about what anybody else is thinking.
You can't. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
That's a clip right there. That's mad. Opinions are like assholes.
Everyone's got one.
Damn.
Do you know what I mean? And what other people think of you is not your business.
That's mad.
They are, though. What other people think about you is really none of your business.
That's true. That is true. I mean, but then also morally, it just like puts you down as well. Like when you start getting into that like overthinking realm where you're just like thinking, okay, all right, cool, what would this, that? And then what's the point of doing anything?
You literally can't live your life for anybody else. Like, I know it's really difficult. And I think especially coming from like a South Asian background, like we kind of all know that eventually we start making money not only for us but for others. We look after our mum and dad, people do charity, people do this, that and the other, which is beautiful. But like, you cannot live your life for other people. And it's taken me a very, very long time to realize that. And I think that's why I live my life the way that I do, like, and kind of promote that authenticity and that way of being. Like, if you want to do something, do it. Be safe whilst doing it, but like, just do it, you know? Yeah, I think it's important.
And I think also by like doing a little bit of research on you and just sort of understanding where your mindset's at, is that you're quite dedicated and like quite focused and fixated at what you want to do. Now obviously people who have watched your stuff before, whatnot, have talked about, you know, you being a virgin and like, you know, you saying that you're quite into your academics as well.
I am.
You know, and like just you focusing. So what, talk to me more about this, because it's like, yes, you get it, like, you know, you want to focus on your studies, you don't want to go at that or whatever, right? Which is like, you know, good desi child, right? Like, you know, just focusing on your studies. But like, what was the struggle there?
What struggle where?
The struggle of like, you know, just maintaining the good desi child, and then just sort of like, you know, the urges.
The urges. I went through life with blinders on, and because I knew that the type of life that I was going to lead, and the type of life that I wanted to have required me to be the best in my field.
Okay.
Going into a creative industry, nothing is guaranteed. You can be hot topic from Monday to Friday, and then Saturday you're old news. So I knew that if I had to go into dance, I had to be one of the best in my field in terms of what I brought to the table. So I was dedicated in training, I was dedicated in finding my niche, I was dedicated in becoming the dancer that I always knew I could be. When it came to my academics, like, I studied so much. 5 years of like in a row I went, and I'm not a medic or a dentist or anything like that, but I did, you know, literature and the arts and things like that. So I was like, I'm dedicated to doing this. I did 2 master's degrees, I put in a thesis for a PhD, I was like ready to go. So I knew that I had, because that was my way of proving that I was becoming a strong person within this field, and I wasn't wasting my time not doing medicine or maths or science or anything like that. Like I was going to do something with this degree, which I did, you know, and I went on to working for a lot of time, and then all of a sudden I started getting touring shows, I started getting musicals, I started getting acting things, I started getting dance things, and it was like they were just really concerned. By they, my family were like, are you sure you're going to go down this route? Because unless you're, I don't know, a flipping the new Patel family that moves into EastEnders, you're not really anyone, are you? Do you know what I mean? Unless that there are only certain things that our community can pronounce, and they're the first English words that people learn, you know, is King's College, TV, film, Bollywood, Hollywood. Like that's the only things. And if you didn't touch at least a few of those points, then you weren't anyone. Do you know what I mean? But I was adamant to become someone, and I knew that I was destined to be someone. When it came to these urges, that you speak of, it was not you sipping. It was shut up. You're so stupid. So stupid. It was just really difficult. Oh my God. It was really difficult because you want what your friends have.
Yes.
So I was looking at all of my friends getting into relationships. I was looking at all of my friends, you know, dating and going, oh my God, I found the love of my life, and this is that and the other, and going, oh yeah, this is my partner, this is this person, that person. I wanted that really badly. It just never happened. And for me, it started to happen in different ways, which then started to mold my mind differently. And what I mean by that is I was so adamant in my academics that I didn't really think about anything else. As soon as somebody started giving me the attention, I kind of went all in and was like, okay, yeah, this is great. Oh my God, if you ever need anything, let me know. Great. Yeah, thanks. Love you. Bye. Like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, because I need to just give you everything now, because I don't know if I have time to be giving you everything. So I'm just going to let you know now that I'm interested in you. I want to be in a relationship with you. Do you want this? But I had no dating history, so I had no idea how to really handle anything or handle anyone. I just knew from like my friends and what they were doing. And I didn't get approached on like Instagram or like on the street or in a club, because everywhere that I was going during university was like ridiculously heteronormative.
So how did you maneuver that then? So if it wasn't the Insta,
I had a lot of guys that were like on me
Snap,
that were like down low.
What do you mean by down
so
low?
I was like a secret. Okay, yeah. So when it comes to someone being down low, it basically means like they're interested in you, but God forbid that anybody ever found out. So it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's like, come chill with me, and like it's cool, like it's all good, like let's go, I don't know, let's go like McDonald's and get McFlurry or whatever at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But then if I walk past you on campus, you'd like shout or slur at me, or like not even,
and you just like completely ignore.
Yeah. So I had that quite a few times. And then you'd get random. This is from the time. This is going to really show my age, isn't it? This comes from the time of like MSN.
Oh,
shut up! Don't do that.
Yahoo.
No, I never did that. Oh God, no. AOL, all that shit. No. I was on the MSN. I was hotmail.com, and and like things like that, and then like you know, when we had Blackberries, do you remember those?
Yes. The screen munching thing as well.
Right, thank you so much. So I was adamant to get my screen munched, but it never ever happened. And like, it got to a point where I was like, why is no one doing this? And but yeah, I had a lot of, for some reason, a lot of people just saw me as this feminine counterpart, and that was the narrative that then got into my head. And then that almost subconsciously was the narrative that I had always been in love with. These courtesans that I would watch. And I think that's why I was so involved in Kathak as well, because that was the only time, and dance in general, that was the only time that I could express these emotions. So much so, and showing my vulnerability, that true essence of me came out. And that's why people were so was so complimentary of my work, because it was real and it was raw, and people could see that emotion, you know. And I was, yeah, I mean, I've been a courtesan my whole life. I'm pretty sure I probably was in my previous life. Like, we always laugh about it, my friends and I. But I was like, that is my narrative. Like, I was dancing in the Mughal Empire, like, for a bunch of, like, Nawabs. That's why I only like white men.
Interesting. So any Caucasian white man.
If anybody, what camera am I on? This one,
yeah.
If anybody wants to colonize me, feel free. No, don't cut that out, please. Don't say that. Do you know what? That actually reminds me of a story. Should I tell you about the story?
Go on, hit me.
So, I had a lot of conversations with guys over my many years, and I remember, and like, listen, and no disrespect to you at all, but men are really fickle and really simple people. Okay, and it was fun to like work with them in a way. So like, I remember speaking to this one gentleman. I can't believe I'm telling this story. I was speaking to this one gentleman, right? And I was at my tether's end with him, and I was like, just in my head, I was like, you're so like, this is just so boring. I was like, I wonder how much I can push this. So I was speaking to him, and he was obviously feeling a certain type of way one late night evening. And and he says to me, oh, like, he was like, because I was still a virgin at this point, okay, in my late 20s. And he goes, oh, you like, I know you've like not tried anything, but are you like into like role play? And I said, yeah, I can get on board with it. At this point, I wasn't even paying attention, right? I was like, I just had him in my ears. I think I was playing Call of Duty at the time or something ridiculous. And I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And like, so I'm like doing that. And I was like on the PlayStation, like my brothers are like in the other room, like my brother's in and out, like watching me like on this campaign. This guy's on my ears, and I'm just, oh my God, please leave me alone. I was like, I know how to get rid of this man. Okay, so have you ever tried role play, Raheem? And I said, no, I haven't. I said, I'm really interested. I said, talk to me about it. He was just like, you know, like, we don't make a scenario, and like, you know, right, whatever happens, jal honda, like, you know what I mean? The fear. Or the bad, like whatever. I go, okay, fine.
Wait. So this person, sorry to cut you off. Is he Caucasian?
He's a Caucasian male.
Okay, all right, yes.
For context, he's Caucasian.
Okay.
I think he still is Caucasian. So yeah, that would be good for him. And I went like role play, and he went, yeah, and I went, okay, well, what are you not into race play? And he went, huh? And I said, I've always thought of myself as a bit of like, I don't know, like a Pocahontas, right? It's my favourite Disney film. And I've always really been interested in like a John Smith. Like, do you think that you could like get into that? At this point, my brothers were actually next to me, listening to me, right? We've paused the game, and I've got two brothers here, and my brother's friend as well is here. And they're all looking at me going, what is going on? And I was like to them, just wait on this. And they were like, okay. So they're listening to this whole conversation. Poor man, never knew this. Oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, like, maybe you like, I don't know, like have pillaged, like you maybe like come into my village and you've just like pillaged everything and you're looking for something, and maybe you're like, you spot me and you see like my caramel skin and you know, you're so pale and you just want to like take advantage of me. And at this point, this guy's like, oh, I don't really know. And I go, shh. I go, shh. I go, shh. Just get into it. And he's like, oh, Raheem, I don't know if I said, no, just colonize me. The room is going.
Just go.
And in my head, I'm like, I just need to get rid of this guy. I was like, I need to get rid of him.
Oh, shit.
And I went, just colonize me. I was like, just make me speak tongues. At this point, he's gone. I mean, I guess I could. At this point, I've broken character now, and I've gone, have you just agreed to race play? And he went, yeah. But he was like, that's what I thought you were. And I said, no, we're done. I said, we're done.
How could you say that he's done after giving him a semi?
I said, that is shocking behaviour. I said, I'm not here for this. Colonize me. I said, you can absolutely delete my number, and I hung up.
So you literally gave this brother a semi or a hard on.
I know, I 100% know it was full. I know it was. I'm good at what I do. I know it was. And like, yeah, I did, but I was like, I have to get rid of him. And then there was just pin drop silence in the room, right? And I went, should we just get back to killing Russians? And then we all just like started the game again. So yeah, it was fine.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I did. Oh, poor guy. And then I remember seeing a picture of him a couple of months later, and I'm pretty sure he was a curry chaser anyway. So like it made sense that he was always going after like brown boys. So I think he was actually definitely into that.
It's a bit. To be fair, I feel like it's a bit of a racial thing. You know, it's low key gives those vibes, but it's not. It might not be out and out. But
I think it was just one of those things where he was just like really into me, but also like no, that's wild.
I want to pillage you.
Right.
I wanna
colonize you.
250 years you've been over in India. Yeah.
Is that not enough?
Exactly. That's.
What do you want me to start calling you? No, I said, excuse me. That's not happening. I can't remember how we got onto this topic of conversation, but it's gross. I think it's funny though. It's just funny, isn't it?
Tell me one more story about like something that guys.
Oh, like DL guys.
DL guys, yeah. Because I feel like that's this is a whole new realm. I don't know about DL guys, right?
There's a lot of them in the South Asian scene.
Okay, let's get an example of that one then.
It happened to me last night, actually.
Oh shit!
But I was in drag and I was driving home. Anyway, there's been loads of
opportunities.
There have been a lot of opportunities to which my mother, because I know you're watching this because you're a nosy woman. My mother has said to me, Raheem. I go, yes, mother. She goes, you are definitively one of the better looking children. And I said, thank you, that's very kind of you. And she said, listen, if an opportunity comes where a rich benefactor wants to take you somewhere, do it. She goes, I never had the opportunity, and I've married a white man who's broke and a teacher and complains about mortgages and children to me all the time. Please go off and do something with somebody and just get me money for an extension. That's all I want from you. I said, okay. So there have been opportunities where I've been approached by guys from loads of different sectors, from loads of different backgrounds, married, engaged.
God damn.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it gets to a point where I'm just like, this is insane. It's wild. I've had
with the different types of clientele available.
Okay, let's not call them clientele.
I mean,
I'm not getting paid for it.
Sorry.
Which is a shame, if you ask me. If I started offering my services for money, I don't know.
Then that's full courtisan.
Well, then it is, that's and we'd all be living lavish. But I can't do that. It's not in my character. Also too tricky. I have accepted gifts though.
What's the craziest gift that you've accepted? Oh, there's a face there. No, there's a face there.
No, it's not nothing major. I've been given many perfumes. I've been given
like a little Paco Rabanne or
like a Tom Ford.
Yeah, Tom Ford, yeah.
I've been given a few Tom Fords. I've been given some really strong Arabic ouds, which were lovely, which now my grandmother wears.
Beta,
she's like, kitthon hai? I was like, kisi bande ne manu ditta si. And then she was like, what? And I go, yeah. She goes, oh, kinne deta tanu? And I was like, some guy. And she was like, kyun? And I was like, I don't know. Pasand aaya hoga. And I go, yeah. I go, you got a problem? My grandmother and I laugh about it all the time. But yeah, she's a fun one. She is. I've accepted gifts because I go, why the hell not? If you're giving me a gift, they're there for like, I want to smell nice. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that was one. I'm trying to think about other moments that I've had with other guys.
South Asian.
Down low South Asian guys. Oh, prime example.
Ooh.
Instagram is a big platform. Instagram is an app for dating now. It is. One of my best friends met her husband now through Instagram. The whole sliding into the DMs thing is a real thing. And obviously I must appear on people's explore pages. God knows what you're exploring. That's entirely up to you. I guess whilst you're exploring, you find me. Now, what the interesting thing for me is that people see my drag persona and people see me like dressed up and stuff like that and see a very hyper feminine woman. Newsflash. I have a beard. I don't know if the editors can zoom in on it, just in case no one else can see it. But I do have a beard. I have a moustache going on. Like, I'm quite evidently male presenting. And but for some reason, guys don't really see that. They just see like the makeup, they see the long hair, they see, an outfit, and they go, oh, okay. prime example is a guy was had started to speak to me via Instagram, and I thought he was quite sweet, and I said, why not just try it, Raheem? Maybe, you know, you could, I don't know, go on a few dates, like just have a nice little experience. It's almost like having a pseudo relationship. But I'm too emotionally attached. That's when my Cancerian sun comes in. I'm too emotionally attached, and I immediately fall in love with someone. I start thinking about kids, catchment areas, you know, that whole thing.
Postcodes.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I start thinking about that. I start thinking about, will your mother like me? What do
Tax
I call
brackets.
her?
Yep.
Thank you. Joint accounts. Cool. So, and he's like been like messaging me all this business. He's offered to buy me shoes. He's offered to buy me outfits. And I go, yeah, that's fine. He goes, when can I see you?
Ooh.
And I was like...
And how quick was this?
Very fast. They're fast. Because a lot of the time, these DL guys just have... it's a kink and a fetish. It's like an underground scene that's not really that underground anymore. And you obviously don't know it unless you hear about it, or obviously like yourselves, like, you know, I'm sure a majority of these listeners won't know about it because they're not involved in it, and they don't have friends who are involved in it or know of it. Well, sit back and listen, because it's very, very prevalent in a lot of scenes. But yeah, this guy offered to buy me like shoes, outfits. He wanted to see me. I said, well, where are we gonna go? And he goes, you're gonna dress up for me. That's the thing. Now listen, it takes a while. Okay, it doesn't take me a while, but it takes a while to like put it all on, right? And like when I am in my drag persona, I hide everything. And I think that's quite evident what I mean. And I hide everything, and I put it all away. Okay. Because you can't just, I'm not the type of aesthetic where I have everything out. Okay. So I hide everything and I put everything away. And you expect me to do that whilst we're out and about, like in a bunch of tights and maybe a cincher and things like that, whilst you're trying to buy me dinner? God forbid that's happening. Like, I'm not doing it. And also, I don't live my life like that. So a lot of people think that I live my life like that, but this is how I live my life. So yeah, this guy's like offered to buy me shoes. He's like called me a number of times. He's like, yo, like, let me see you, like, where you at? Like, I'm around, let me pick you up, let me do this. And I'm like, no, because nothing's going to happen here. Do you know what I mean? I've had loads of guys like just call me out of the blue. Sometimes people don't even just message you. Sometimes they just call you. And Instagram needs to sort that out, because I'm not the one. But like, yeah, I've had loads of things. Oh God. I've had gentlemen tell me that they think about me during particular times. And
during the flute playing.
Yeah, what is that? What it's called?
I don't know. I just
sure. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Let's keep it PG. Let's keep it.
Okay. Yeah. During alone time.
Selfies.
Alone time.
Yeah.
Just alone time.
Yes.
During alone time, a lot of like guys, and they've sent me pictures. They've sent me videos.
Wow.
They've sent me pictures of me.
Like, as in
within their own environment,
printed out,
or just on an iPad screen.
How does that feel?
It's actually quite it's quite ego boosting.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I go, wow, I'm gorge. Like, I'm lovely. But it also makes me feel really dirty, and I immediately need to have a shower. Yeah, that's awful.
That's crazy.
I've had men offering to fly me out to places.
And have you flown out?
No, I haven't. I'm not that.
No, I'm just
go on a yacht and get shot on. I'm not that one. Yeah.
Oh, those type of flyouts. Yeah, you gotta be careful with those ones, because them type of clientele are.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. I've been to those countries, and like, I'll have like my hair like up at a judo, and I'll be fine. All of a sudden, I have my hair down, and the whole game changes. People are like taking pictures of me. It's weird, really, really strange. Yeah, it's a crazy world to be involved in.
Wait, so talk to me about this. This is going to be bare fucked, right? It's a bit TMI, right? And this is a bit of a warning, but like, you mentioned about tucking, right? The whole like thing. Does that hurt? Like, does that? Because
no,
I don't know, like I don't know, like.
How do you do it?
Yeah, how do you do it? Because let me give you some experience, right? And well, that came out wrong. No, I didn't need to tuck in. No. It's like when I play cricket, you got to put the box in, right? You know, like the box.
But a cup is different.
But kaparake is like, you know, you got like a kacha, and then it's just like you put the cup there.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is, and it's like you're done, you're calm, right? But like, I know there's additional processes, but like,
well, of course there are. Yeah. So you have to. Everybody has different ways of doing it. But essentially, prior to puberty, you know the whole phrase "your balls have dropped."
Yes.
Obviously, they don't. So there's still the cavity where they used to be, still there, available for rent.
Yes.
So what you do is you essentially push them back into the cavity, right? And then you fold everything back, and then with like the gaff that you've got, or like a pant, like a tucking underwear or whatever, you literally just hike that up. So then that holds everything in place.
A hee-hee. Yeah.
So you hold everything in place, and then whatever you put on after that is how you do it. I can successfully perform and do everything done like that. That's fine for me. I can't sit down for too long. That's when I get uncomfortable. I can't sit down. God forbid I ever try and drive. That's bastardly painful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But sitting down for too long gets me. It's really uncomfortable.
Wait, you can't even like man spread with that as well. You can do.
No, you can. But what? There's no man to spread.
Because it's all tucked in.
Because it's all become.
Interesting. That is very different. It's a whole new world essentially.
You should try it one day.
You know what?
The next episode, Bainsainye are going to be in full drag.
You know what? Garmin should do it.
We should get Garmin in drag.
I think he'll
He's not here, so he hasn't. I've not heard a no.
When he comes back. So
when he comes back, we'll get him in drag.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. That is completely different as to how I would expect it to be in terms of the tucking thing and all of those other experiences. So now I want to move on to another topic in terms of like the future, essentially, right? So like we're talking about long before we're gone, essentially, about how do you see like the Asian/Desi community with inclusivity and diversity and like sexual orientation and all of these other facets?
The South Asian community has been a beacon of sexuality and gender expression. It has been going on for aeons. Nothing that I'm doing now, nothing that I'm saying now, or the person I am today is new. Nothing about me is new. This whole idea of being queer identifying, this whole idea of gender expression has been going on for aeons. If you look back at cultures, you look back at religious texts, you look back at paintings, let's talk about art, let's talk about all of that. It's already all there, right? You talk about the communities that you see now, the hijra communities, the trans-identifying communities, those people have been there for years. Again, since like the dawn. I really don't know. Actually, I do know. I do. The reason why so many people have so many issues with it is because of the Western ideology that was brought into our culture. Prior to that, I don't think anybody would have had a problem because everybody was living the way that they were living. People invite hijra communities to their events for blessings. People invite trans-identifying communities to things in order for auspicious occasions, in order to be protected. Look at the Gidda groups that you've got now. Those gentlemen dress up in full attire, full regalia, right? No matter how they identify, and they perform in the way that they perform, and they get invited to do things. There is a future for this. There is hope for a lot of our community. It's up to us as generations to allow people to just be who they want to be. It's not affecting you. No one's. People have agendas. People have voices. Just like everybody has a voice. Allow people to express themselves. No one is asking you to agree with everything because we don't. You know. I don't agree with socks and sandals. It doesn't mean that I'm going to turn around and point at someone in the street and go, "You're wearing socks and sandals. You don't deserve rights."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it is as simple as that. It's as trivial as that. You know? There is a future long after we're not here anymore, people need to be able to have known where we come from and know the struggle. We harp on about our cultural differences all the time. We joke about things like colonization, like we just did, but that happened. People join societies because they want to be in touch with their culture, because that was taken from us, right? People want to be able to live their lives the way that they want to live. So if you are entitled to be unapologetically Punjabi in a space, if you can be unapologetically in love with your partner, if you can hold hands, if you can allow your knees to touch, you can allow your shoulders to touch, you can flirt with someone, you can do whatever, you can buy a drink for someone that you find attractive, everyone should be able to do that.
Yeah.
So what is it that you can't allow two people of the same gender or two people of the same whatever to be able to do that? It makes no sense to me. I'm never one to push an agenda. I'm never one to like sit there and go and be all up in someone's face and go da-da-da-da, because for me, my sexuality is so far down the list of my characteristics. When we first met, you didn't turn around and go, "Hi, I'm straight."
No.
Because that's not a defining characteristic.
Yeah, it's not.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've not even spoken about any of that.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
So why is it a thing that I don't, if you were ever, if in this next 2 hours we become best friends, right? And you start inviting me out and you go, "Oh, do you know what, Raheem, you should come to this, like, it'll be fun, like, you'll have a great time." I wouldn't want you to introduce me or to explain me or to describe me as, "Oh, this is my friend, like, he's queer." Like, that shouldn't be my defining feature.
That's not, definitive, essentially.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, I don't introduce my friends and go, "This is my straight friend." I don't do that. It's weird. Is that not weird? And like, I want people to turn around and go, "Oh my God, he's really funny. Like, he's cool. Like, he's a good guy. You know, he's really witty. He's intelligent. He's got a great pair of legs." I don't know. Like, whatever you want to say about me, say about me. But it shouldn't be like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, you should know."
Like,
it's not
this is the thing that...
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not a thing. And it's like, I always say this as well, like, to people when they go, and I'm only going to say this and I'm not going to talk about it any further, but like, when people say things like it's a choice, or like the way that you are, you know, it's your environment, it's this, that, and the other. Is it bollocks? Because you tell me the time, right, in front of all of our listeners here, in front of all the people that are watching, in front of everyone that's in this room present now, you tell me the time when you chose your sexuality. At what point in your life did you turn around and go, "I'm straight. I'm deciding to now be straight"?
You know what? It's not like where I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I'm straight," or whatever. It's the attraction towards the female gender.
It's biological.
Yeah.
It's inbuilt.
It's like, yeah, when you see that music video and you see, a bit of,
right, and you start watching at 0.5 speed.
Yes.
Because it gets you there. But like, there was never a form that I was given when they say tick a box. Because think about it like this. Why would you choose to be born in a community that is going to be hated upon?
Interesting.
Did you choose to be brown in a white dominated environment?
No. It's just how it is.
They are the cards that we are dealt.
Interesting.
And that's who I was meant to be.
This is a very different perspective. I've actually not considered it from this angle, to be fair. And I feel like it's that thing of like, maybe it might be the thing of lack of education. It might be this thing of where somebody's just being naive, where they don't necessarily know what the norm is or how the norm should be or whatever, and they have these like bold assumptions. But then it's like, when you think about it in that angle, it's very interesting, and it opens up a whole different perspective.
Yeah, like, understand what you're saying to somebody. Nobody chooses to be on the receiving end of hatred. That is crazy.
Yeah.
You don't wake up one day and go, I really wish someone would just slur me. Unless that's your kink and fetish, then I'll allow that to happen because I'm not one to shame.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't, to quote memes, I didn't choose this life. This life chose me.
Yeah.
Of course, there have been moments where, but we all have them. We're human, where we don't want to be the person that we are. We've all had moments. Life would have been just easier if I was white. Life would have just been easier if I had short hair. Life would have just been easier if I was really muscly at 27. Life would have been really easier if I didn't walk with my hips so much. Life would have been a lot easier if I had a straight nose. Like just little things like that. There have been loads of moments where I've thought that life would have been easier if I was straight. Life would have been easier if I was born a woman. You know?
Yeah.
Because you start putting things into perspectives. I would never want to bring angst or upset to anyone. That's not my character. I never would want my family or friends to think of me as a failure. I would never have wanted my sexuality, the way that I love, to be an infringement or an imposing energy upon my family. That was never my intention, and never will it be. So for people to turn around and say things like, and to ostracize people for who they are, I think is incredibly, incredibly saddening. So what the future then holds for us should be that, like, just allow people to be who they are in the space that they are. And if they're not giving you any ag, then don't confront people. Do you know what I mean? I'm not involved in football culture, for example, right? Even though I've grown up in it. You're obviously today wearing a t-shirt.
Yes.
Which I assume is an Arsenal t-shirt.
Yes, North London Derby, that's why I'm representing, so I'm going to be
there you go.
On,
exactly. So, yeah. Now, I could sit here and go, what is that? What are you doing? Why are you wearing that? Who do you think you are coming up in here? And because I could easily turn around and go, well, in my eyes, you're promoting hooliganism, you're promoting a heteronormative culture, you're performing a culture where more often than not, my people in my community have been hate crimes. So how dare you wear that t-shirt in front of me now? But I don't. Because I go, if that's what you're into, then that's what you're into, man. Cool.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And I feel like this whole perspective, it's a lot of people don't understand this.
No,
that's the thing. And it's like, equally, I can be over here sat down and saying that, you know what, whatever you've just said, I knew all about that.
Yeah,
I actually didn't. No, because it gives me a different angle to understand, and that is something I really appreciate, because it's that thing of our community, the Desi community in general. We are so quick to judge. We are, even if it's like a 10-second clip, 30-second clip, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatever, an opinion forms straight away. You're like, okay, it's meant to be like this is not how it's meant to be, etc., etc. And with what you said about, like, you know, colonialism and just, you know, the British coming over, it's that mindset of like, no, things have to be man, woman, this, that, this is how it's meant to be. And people forget about what our culture used to be before, which is incredible. You can even go down the realms of, yes, okay, sexuality is one, even daily lifestyle, even the way that we used to, for architecture, like buildings being designed, etc., etc., all of that. Like, you can go into multi different facets, but before British, after British. So I think it's just breaking down those barriers, which is important. That's why we're having this conversation as well today. And I feel like somebody who is watching this and they are, you know, either queer or, you know, are having a bit of doubts or whatnot, you know, they feel motivated and inspired to continue to be who they are. Yeah,
I should hope so. I mean, it's definitely something that we need to promote more of. Like, we don't want our children's children, our future generations, the name that we're carrying, to be tarnished and to be growing up in a world that promotes this. You know, just provide a safe space for one another, no matter who you are. Like, that's all we are. Just be human, for God's sake. Like,
yeah. And just to add on that, it's not just only about being queer as well. It's
that's what I'm saying.
It's about you as an individual. If you feel like something's here or whatever, you know, just break those barriers down. Do what you need to do what your heart feels, you know, and you're content with it. So that's pretty much it. So,
exactly.
So yeah,
just allow it to happen.
So what would be your last message of this first episode before we take a break and get into part 2, which will be very, very interesting.
It will be. What's my last message? My closing statement?
Closing statement for part 1 of...
Where'd you get that voice from?
But this British voice.
Oh, is that your British voice?
It's my distinguished British gentleman voice.
Oh,
that's what it is, yes.
Okay, that's nice.
Yes.
My closing statement would be... be who you want to be to the strongest and highest way. Be safe, and allow people to continue and to be who they need to be. Provide fruitful environments to create growth. And if you ever have a question, just ask it. And just don't be ignorant.
Yeah, it's
all about that's really embarrassing.
Accepting and learning, you know.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So
that's what I mean. Just agree to disagree. Sometimes you may not agree with things, and that's also okay. But as long as you've had the conversation, then that's also fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't jump to conclusions. Don't do things. Like, a lot of the time, people will look at me and go, "Oh no, that guy's gay. Like, I'm not involved."
It's just a bit sus. I can't, you know.
But understand, I know every girl that exists in your community. Okay, I can get women on my side real fast. And it's not just, listen, I don't want to be sitting here bashing guys. Girls are just as bad. Girls can be really nasty.
And we'll get into this in part 2. We'll get into this in part 2.
Brush your hair.
But if you guys are not Bainsainye members, become Bainsainye members to listen to episode number 2. And thank you very much for coming on to Raw with AYSAINYE. I had a ball and I learned a lot of things as well for part 1. So we're going to take a deeper dive in the next episode.
Into balls. Yeah, I'm excited.
Exactly. That's what we're going to be doing. On that bombshell, we are